Welcome, everybody, to LinkedIn for Breakfast. This is our weekly LinkedIn marketing madness where we come in and we just throw a idea, concept, thoughts around how to use the world's largest professional network to grow your business, to help you to be able to do more and find more of the stuff that you love. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to be talking about Sales Navigator. But before we start, a bit of tradition here. We just like to just recap the reason why we get up every Wednesday to do this. And the ultimate goal for what we're trying to create here at LinkedIn for Breakfast is to make this a place where entrepreneurs can come together and unlock the full power of LinkedIn for two reasons, really. So, one is around brand expansion. So, that's helping you to get your name out there and for people to recognize you, the business, and to see you as a thought leader. So, actually, concepts around that brand expansion. And the second thing, and it's going to be the real focal point of what we're talking about today, is around business development. So actually getting that phone ringing and inbox pinging with inquiries. That's the piece. So raise your profile, get more leads. That's why we do it. And our vision for this group is to make it the best place in the world to learn LinkedIn for free. And we hope sincerely that we are going towards that goal or working our way towards that goal. We do this through our free community, obviously through this session, but also our free community LinkedIn for Breakfast. If you're not part of this group, the lovely Flora, I think, will be posting that into the chat now. There it is, with a link to it. There's no catch, there's no sales pitch. It is a free community where we'll share the replay of this, we'll share resources, we'll share previous events. There's little mini courses in there for you to play with, and you can network with each other. We run a little engagement pod where people can go and like and share each other's stuff. We do a community corner on a Friday where we get to ask people to share, information about their business or website links or whatever it is. We're just there to help you guys network. So jump into that. There is no charge. Cool. So let's go and just put a bit of big picture on what this is all about, right? Let's get rid of this. Okay, so why would you use something like a Sales Navigator over LinkedIn? Well, just to kind of draw out the thesis of what we should all be thinking about, and I loop back to this a number of times, but I just want to keep on driving this home. We want to take people from going from awareness into consider, into convert, into deliver. What do I mean by that? Is that your whole point of doing LinkedIn lead generation is to try and find people and make them aware of you. Once they're aware of you, you can then move them into something that they can consider you, right? And I know I talk about this quite a lot, but I just want to just drive it home. You should have a consideration asset, be it a newsletter, podcast, event like this, a long form video, whatever you're doing, have something that you do weekly. We call it the weekly moment. And that's where you drive people into each week. If they come to that, you update and inform them, you give them a good experience. They go from going, oh, okay, I'm aware that you are a coach to, oh, I like what you say about X, Y, and Z subject. So I now am learning from you. And then when you go from that, then you can then open the door for the right sort of people to then have a one-to-one with you. And then that one-to-one is where you can then talk about your product. That goes into the convert piece. If it's appropriate, you can convert them into being able to deliver for them, right? So this is when they're a client, okay? So awareness, to consider, to convert, to deliver. And what we want to think about when we're doing this is that we need to make sure that we are talking to the right people. The riches are in the niches, as Trump would say. So you want to make sure that you actually have this list and it's the right type of people that you're talking to. Now, here's the thing. With LinkedIn basic search, we can actually see these people. We can do a basic search and we can go, there is the people that I would like to make aware of me. But I reckon when you do the basic search, it's probably about 50-50. About 50% are actually your target audience. And not only that, they might be target audience, but actually you don't really know their revenue or their target head count, or there's a load of things you can do. And I'm going to do a search from that. What if we could guarantee that we knew 100% of this list were absolutely A star prospects. Absolutely A star. So if we spent an hour a day targeting these people, then that's an hour hanging out with A star prospects. And so the likelihood of having these people come and check out your content, and of course, if that content could then also be targeted towards the A star type of people in your network, then, my friends, the one-to-ones that you have are going to be with A star opportunities. And so therefore your clients become A star clients, right? And A star clients to attract more A star clients. And then the world goes round and you are able to sell at a higher revenue. You're able to spend less time having these sales calls because you're going to convert more of them. You're going to have more rewarding clients. And so when we think about, well, what is the cost? And it's an annoying amount of money. It's a really annoying amount of money. I think Andy was talking about that you might be able to get it cheaper, but I think it's about £60 per month I pay, something like that. It's annoying. It's just annoying. If it was 30 quid, it's an absolute no-brainer, but it's just that annoying amount. But when you think about this A star concept and reframing it in that way, well, how much is your time worth? And certainly for me, the equation of having, three meetings with A star people as opposed to three meetings and one of them's an A star, one of them's a B minus, and one of them's a Z. Um, that is well worth 60 quid a month to me, 100%. And it should be the same for you guys. It's just, I know when you're running business, it's just one of those extra things. There's so many subscriptions, right? We always bloody subscriptions. So think about that. Now, let me just go and bring this to life. So here's the lovely LinkedIn, my favorite place, right? And so when you're going into here, here's where you can go basic search, right? And so you might want to. So I'm gonna show you for me. So one of the audiences that we go for, we work with service sector businesses, but one of the key audiences we go for is coaching businesses, right? So I might go coach plus founder right? So there you go. So coach plus founder would be the search that I put into this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press see all people results. Remember, this is the basic search, so you can all do this. And then it's going to give me the 6.5 million people that it sees for that. So then I'm going to use a location. I'm going to go United Kingdom. I could, if I wanted to go London instead of United Kingdom. Let's try that. And then I could go check out all filters, probably the easiest way to do this, and you get these filters. So you can see where the current company is, but that doesn't really make it relevant for me, and I've got to know that information already. School isn't really interesting, but industry is, right? And so I can go and actually go business consulting services I wanted to, or I can go and add an industry, and I could go type in coach to see if it comes up, and professional training and coaching comes up. Great. Okay, so I've got industry right. Profile language, fine. Okay, I could say English, just in case that there was anybody else in the UK, who was on a different one. This is particularly good, by the way, if you're trying to target, say, expats in Spain. You could go English profile, but live in Barcelona. So actually, that's quite a good tip if anybody's trying to do that. And then service category, I could kind of go do that, but I've already got industry. So I could just, maybe I could just go coach, see if it comes up, executive coaching, life coaching, something along those lines. Or I might just be happy with all of these things, right? Because I've got the industry sector, right? So there you go. I can show results, and here it comes. So this is the 94,000 people that are potentially the right people for me. So here you go. So we can go through, we can go check them out. Great, this looks good. They're all looking perfect, and we can go through this, right? So nice, right? So this gives us a list. But if we go on to page 6, let's see how we're getting on. We're still looking pretty good, actually. Look at this: performance coach, master coach, bespoke coach. Yeah. So look, we are getting a nice list of people that are working through here. So that works well, right? But I don't know what revenue they're turning over. I don't know what their company headcount is. I don't know, actually, are they the proper founders? I can't really cut that list as much as I'd like to. Okay. So if we go and take this thesis, so you can start working on here. So I want you to show you can get to that level. But here's the thing: if you're an HR company and you only want to work with companies that have got over 1,000 staff, that's not going to help you. If I'm a business that's an accountancy firm, and we were talking to one yesterday who wants to only sell to people who are 1 million in revenue or over, that's not going to help me because I have no idea what the million, what the revenue is of Emma Wright versus Robert here, right? So that becomes the problem. So that's where we need to then go on to Sales Navigator. If you've got Sales Navigator, it will have a little button here on the right-hand side you can click and you take you over to Sales Navigator here. So it's the premium version. Now it's a different place to do searches, but there's some other cool things that allow you to do that. But I'm going to show you the searches first, okay? So searches wise, there's two types of searches. There's accounts and then there's leads. So accounts is actually the companies that you're trying to search, and then the leads is the people within those companies that you're trying to find, okay? So if we go on to what we say account filters, so basically going into account search, I can then create a list of companies that have all those elusive things that we talked about. Annual revenue, company headcount growth, headquarters locations, right? There's loads of things, even like Fortune 500. You can look at where are they on the Fortune list, right? So you can also see recent activities such as have the senior leadership changed in the last 3 months? Have there's been a funding event in the past 12 months? That's super cool, right? So if it was me, I would be going, right, well, let's go and look for people who are from 0 to 500,000 because my business is the $1 million sprint. So obviously there's no point me targeting people who are over 1 million, right? So if I'm getting people who are under 500,000, then those are the sort of people that I can then help grow their business to 1 million in revenue plus, right? And so then I can go company headcount. And so I go 1 to 10 because that's all the size of the business I want to do because I work with smaller businesses, right? So you can see how I can start to create this great list of people. Industry wise, so I can go back, I can still do that within the professional coaching industry. So here we go. And then headquarters location, I can then go down to here and I can go UK. Oh, United Kingdom. There we go. And I might go Ireland. But I always go Ireland because everybody forgets to put Ireland in. But they are obviously, the irony is like Ireland's a brilliant market to target because everyone in the UK targets UK, and the Irish outreach and marketing we find isn't doing as much there as possible. So actually, we find that as being a very good market. So it's a good tip for people to check out. And so UK and Ireland, professional coaching and training, their number of followers, you can then actually see, well, maybe I want to work with people who have got slightly less followers than them. Maybe I don't want people who've got massive amounts of followers. Actually, it doesn't really matter to us. And so you can see this. Now, if you're a software company, you can actually look at what technology they're using and all that sort of stuff, but that's not interesting to us. And so here creates a lovely list, right? So we've got a lovely list of people that we potentially could target, and we can then go save this list. And now once we've saved this list, we can then go find the owners of these companies if we wanted to. But I can go through this and I can go and have a look at these people and I can go, okay, great. You can see here, I've got these ones saved here. So let's go and fast forward to, because these are already accounts that I've saved. Let's go on to page 6 because I might not have as many saved. So what I want to do is I want to create a target list of these companies. So once I know I've got a decent search going on here, I go press select all, which will select the 25 per page. And then I'll scan through it and go start up to stand up. Great. Women who, perfect. PBS. Okay, so this looks like the right sort of business. And I just go through and go, okay, these are the type of training companies that would be good for me, right? And I keep on scanning through because every now and again, there might be, look, here you go, Starbucks and Associate Executive Coaching Leadership. If that was Starbucks and it had snuck in somehow, then obviously I would probably take it out because it wouldn't be the right business for me, right? So you scroll down, give it a very quick eye over and go, okay, all of those were right. Now what I want to do is press this, save to list, and I can save it in my target coaching companies list, right? So I'm making a nice list of the specifically those A plus people. So I'm doing a great search And then from that search, I'm moving them into a list, right? So I've done that. So then what I can do is I can then come back out and I can then go and look at my lists. So if I wanted to, if I go click on accounts, I can then go and have a look at this and just look at people in this list. So I can go see accounts list here, top right. And I know I'm clicking things and it is recording, go back. I can go click on target companies. So these are the target coaching companies. And this is the data that you start to get. So you can go, right, here's all those people that I've talked about. And if I wanted to, I can then star them as being important. I can add a note on the particular, on this company if I wanted to, if I'm collaborating with other people in my team, or if I just want to make a note. And then it can see the lead recommendations that it's given me in terms of who's there. But we can go a lot further than that because now we've got this list. I'm going to then go over to leads, right? So we've created a list of targeted organizations. Then I'm going to go over to leads and just think about this is how I'm doing it, but I want you to see how this might work for you. And I'm going to go do the same. So I did a lead filters. I did account filters. Now I'm going to leads. These are all the filters that I can do for individuals, right? So you can look at what their current company is and what their current company headcount is. So there is some repetition with the accounts list, but I do the accounts first and then I do the individual second. Because this stuff of like current company headcount and stuff, I've already got nailed because I put the account list, right? But function wise, I want them to actually be part of maybe a function in terms of the business, right? So you can choose what their department is, eventually what function is. But I don't do that because I want to only have the owners. So I go to seniority level and I go owner stroke partner, which in the SME space is important because I just want to speak to those. If you're talking to targeting corporate, you might want to hit like the department heads, you might want to hit individual specific job titles, which you can do here. And there's God knows how many job titles you actually have to type them in because there's so many job titles on there. And then I can actually look at years in company as well, or years in current position. So if I want someone who's just joined and changed that role, so they're in a good person to target because they just joined, I could do that, right? Again, I could look at their geography and industry sector, etc. Years of experience, I could do all of that. What groups are they in? So this could be really useful if you just want to target women. So you could go and join a lot of the women in business groups, and then you can you can just target people who are in those groups. So I could actually um, type in a group here. Women, it's going to pop up in a second. Oh no, actually, it probably isn't because I'm not part of any. You have to be part of the group to be part of it. So let's just go. Business is there. There you go. So I can target. So these are groups that I'm part of. So I can click on those and just target people who are in those groups. That's a really nice way of targeting. I could also look at people who are following my company. I could look at people who viewed my profile recently. I can see, and this is one of the things that I really like. I can look at people who have posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. So this is a tick box here, or change jobs, right? So there's some really nice ones. But what I'm most important going to do on this is I'm going to go down to accounts lists and I'm going to go find my target coaching company list and include that. So now all I've got is the owners of the people who own those targeted coaching businesses that I've had, which are the right revenue, the right location, the right headcount. And here they are. I've got 80 of them here. And this is the list. Bam. So now what I can do is I can go save those as leads. And this is important, right? So I can go select them all again. So it gives me 25 of them. I can scroll down. And again, I'm just going to double check, right? Because here I can go down and I'm just looking at their current roles. And so there's an instructor partner. So I think that might be okay. But what if there is, and I'm just double checking, here we go, head of business partnerships. Okay. So Sean here, head of business partnership. I'm not sure that Sean is actually a star. So I'm going to untick Sean. And then head of commercial and operations. I'm not sure this person is proper, yeah, or a star. So I'm going to remove him. And then I'm going to go down, founding member, head of, affiliate member, affiliate member. I'm not sure affiliate member is someone for me either, right? So I'm going to go Thrive instructor partner. Yeah, maybe. And down. So you just got to be really careful. Board trustee again, I'm going to remove that. There you go, perfect. And now once we've done that, I've got 21 selected. I'm going to save that to a list. And now this is going to be my target coaches list. Bam. So now I've got a list of target coaches that I'm building out over time. Okay. So you can see that. Now, my friends, the work begins, right? So there's two things that we can do here. We can then start to obviously connect with them and start to grow that connection. But the big thing that I like to do is to first get into them, see where they are, what they're posting, right? So I go onto the homepage, and you know on LinkedIn when you're seeing a the feed, right? And let me just show you the feed here. I'll jump onto LinkedIn, and this is the feed that we all get. This is the free feed, right? So I'm going to jump up to the new posts, and it's going to show me, right? So the first thing here is the first messages here is someone who's part of my network, Laura, and she's sharing something here, which is great. Okay, so that's good. The second message I see is an ad. Okay, so the first one's a legitimate post, the second one's an ad. Okay, so that's two posts. I scroll down again. This is someone who's in my network who's sharing something. So great. So three posts, we've had two that are good. This one's suggested. So the next one, the fourth one, is a suggestion. So LinkedIn's basically saying, well, this person is interesting. Why don't you have a look at this? Okay, well fine. Now I'm looking at actually watching a webinar. So this is something that's completely different, watching a webinar. And then so that's the fifth one. And then the sixth one is a promoted post. So it's basically an ad. So that's the sixth one. So in six posts, there was only two that came from my network. There's only two people who I'm connected with that I saw out the first six posts that I look at. So when you think about when you're posting your content on LinkedIn, that's why it's so important to try and make your content get initial likes and comments and stuff so it gets actually into people's feeds, because people are just getting hit with suggestions and webinars and ads. And so they're only seeing about a third of the posts that they get served that are actually in their audience. And so it becomes really difficult to actually get your teeth into that audience. So how do you do that? You've got to show up elsewhere, not just trying to post stuff, but by getting into their feed. And how do you do that? Well, you can use the alert service with Sales Navigator to actually become a consolidated feed for you. So the feed that is actually the people you want to see. And when you're lead generating and prospecting, you want that to be your prospects, your A-star opportunities. So you can go onto your homepage here. You can go click on lead list. You can then go down to your target coaches here. And now these are just the posts that are coming from those specific people that I want to actually start to connect with. So I can look at this and I can go click on this person, and it will come up with their post on the right hand side, and I can then work through this list and I can go, cool. So Sarah's gone, squeaky new website coming. And I can go look at it and go, great, cool. And I can go have a look at the website here and just do a very quick scan. Great picture on the front page. Wow, loving the photography. Great. So that's me. And so I can then just go what we call clam, right? I want you to, I want to apologize for this analogy. What do I mean by clam, right? I mean, when you're prospecting, particularly if you're not even connecting with people, you want to see, comment. Okay. So you comment on their post, you like their post, you then add them as a connection if they're not already, and then you message. Um, there you go. So comment, like, add, message. And that's the cloud. And if you do that, you are now getting into the feed. Let's just revert this back to here, right? So if you've got this lead list here and you're clamming, it's not the best word, is it? But you're clamming this list, it means that you are making this list aware of you, and then through the messaging, you can move them from being aware of you into joining you for one of these things. So then you're inviting them along to your consideration asset, and then you're in comment and messaging with them. So therefore, it's easy to then invite them onto a one-to-one, right? So you want to clam the list. And what list should you clam? This list that's on your alerts on Sales Nav. So I can go and comment to say, love the photography on the website. Really cool. Well done. Right. So the comment's like a compliment, right? So nice. Nice comment, unoffensive, just getting in her feed, right? And then I'm going to like it, right? But I'm not going to use a normal like. I'm going to use something that is one of these ones because they just means that I've just worked a little bit harder on it and I kind of show up. So when you've got lots of likes, if you're doing the slightly different one, it will show up differently for that person. And then I'm going to add her. Now I may already be connected with her. Let's just see. So let's go click on her profile. And I can then go, see, now I'm a second degree connection. So the likelihood then of this person connecting with me is higher because I've commented on her post. And so what am I going to do when I go connect? I'm going to add, but I'm also going to message at the same time. So I'm going to add a note. And by the way, when you're doing a free version of LinkedIn, you can't send any messages. You can send like 2 or 3 messages with your connection requests a month. When you've got Sales Navigator, you can always send and the same with LinkedIn Premium, you can always send a message, right? And you say, hi, Sarah, love the new website. Who was your photographer? So again, I'm getting the conversation started. So I'm not like, hi, Sarah, love the website. Do you want to buy my stuff? I'm saying, hey, love the website. Who's your photographer? So hopefully then she'll come back to me and go, oh, that's cool, and then I can start to go, well, look, what's the plan with it? What's your big goal for it? Okay, cool, wicked. And then I can go, oh, by the way, if you ever thought about sort of promoting it a bit further on LinkedIn, I've got an event coming up. We thought you might be interested in it. You should come along to it, or we got a cool group of people that you might want to hang out with in our LinkedIn Breakfast community. You should come along to it. And you see how by knowing that I want to develop that conversation into moving her from being aware into consider, then that helps. And you can then start to see, bam, I'm moving that person from awareness into consideration and then potentially into convert if it works. And it's about volume. It's about getting the right volume and about rhythm, right? Um, so that's where Sales Navigator really stacks up. Amazing A plus searching, storing those people, getting alerts to those people, and then lead generating and prospect managing those people within it. Cool. So I'm going to take some questions now from people. I know that there's lots of potential opportunity there for you to get your teeth into. I haven't seen any of the comments in the chat yet because I was in flow. So let's get some of those comments to come out and be asked questions. Before we do take the first question, just to let anybody know, if you're shooting off because you got to ask for questions, we offer free. Okay, there's no sales pitch here. We offer as part of our community, as part of our desire to make this the best free place on the planet for you to be able to learn LinkedIn. We will look at your LinkedIn profile and we will discuss some of this stuff with you, and we'll look at what's missing, what needs to be improved. And we'll look at things like your headline, your banners. We'll look at how your about section stacks up. We look at are you using the featured section properly? Are you using things like LinkedIn newsletters properly? It's a really cool audit of your LinkedIn profile. It takes about half an hour, just one-to-one. We just go through it, share screens with you, and show you where you can improve it. It's well worth doing. So it's a free session, and let me just put the link to that in the chat for you. So if I get this right, LinkedIn profile audit. Yeah, I think. Here we go. And I'll put the chat there. There's not masses of these sessions. So do jump into there and I'm just putting this into the chat here. So there you go. So book into this and you could probably get in actually tomorrow. There's a couple of sessions in the morning there tomorrow. And it's a really good opportunity for us to look at your banner, as you say, your profile picture, maximize your recommendations, lead generation, etc. Really, really important. Cool. Okay, guys, let's jump in. So, if you've got a question, feel free to use the digital hand raise here. I will try and work my way through some comments as well in the chat, but it's difficult to kind of do both. So it would help me out loads if you got a question to use that to ask it. Who wants to go first? Dave is just confirming it's $79 per month for Sales Navigator. Yeah, it's annoying. That includes VAT, but it's annoying. Sandra, over to you.
Richard, hi. I can't afford the Sales Navigator at the moment, but I'm trying to get back to all the videos I know you've created on how to do a LinkedIn newsletter. Can you put the link in the chat for me to get back to that?
So, if you're looking for any of the content that we've created, jump on to the community. And this is going to show our client community. Let's jump onto LinkedIn for Breakfast community. Here we go. So, in LinkedIn for Breakfast, you've got this great cool thing called the classroom at the top. And here we split out a number of the key things that we talk about into little mini courses for you. So scroll on down. You see here's a Sales Navigator replay for you if you want it. And you'll see here LinkedIn newsletters. Jump onto here and you will have my dulcet tones banging on about how awesome LinkedIn newsletters are. And I've chucked into the chat there for ease for you. Cool. No worries. Ronnie, over to you, sir.
I'm on. Yes. Hi, Richard. Just a question. Okay, so got a whole lot of connections. Now I want to communicate en masse with them. You can't really use InMail, and I have a problem. I was using Get Prospect to scrape, but then I get a warning from LinkedIn to say, hey, you can't do that because it's illegal. So that is now out of court. Is there any legal way within LinkedIn to do a mass communication without getting chucked off the site?
Not in the kind of email marketing type way. Because yeah, that's LinkedIn is trying to protect its network from being kind of spammed, if you like. But you can scrape those searches into email lists and then send out email connections to them. Obviously, that there's a little bit of naughtiness around that, but I've created a video. It's quite a popular video on our site on how to basically do a full scrape of a list from Sales Navigator, be it the free version or the Sales Navigator version. Download that into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can upload that and email it. Comes with a warning. Obviously, you've got to kind of have your own thoughts around how to do that. But let me just share that with you guys. So it's on my YouTube channel. If you guys aren't subscribed to my YouTube, definitely do that. I put out a tip most weeks on a sort of step-by-step process on how to do this. And here's the channel here. Here we go. And let me just chuck that into the chat. So please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow my subscribers. It's not our primary platform, obviously LinkedIn is, but it's you might as well because there's some good tips there. Now on here we created this video, which is how to export emails from LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and so let me share that into the chat and put that into there, and you can have a little look at that one. And so in there that helps you to be able to pull down a full email list, and then you can do whatever you want with it. You can have your way with it, Ronnie. Not that that's good advice, because you've got to subscribe people to send emails, don't you? under GDPR, Ronnie. So, but remember this, everything I tell you here is just light entertainment with Richard in the morning. So you can you can do whatever you want. I'm not the boss of you. Good, but there's a little video. Cool. Into the room then, guys. Questions?
Yeah,
We'll go with Indor.
just a quick one. It's linked to Ronnie's. Can I just try and understand on LinkedIn how many people have got their contact details as their personal email rather than a business email?
Very interesting. So the big question is, what do you count as being a personal email?
Well, my Google email that runs pretty much everything that I log on to, including LinkedIn for breakfast. But
Cool.
obviously, I've got a business of one. But my business of one has got a website link, but not my email link to my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, but so you use that Gmail for business, right?
Not really, just for security and log on.
Yeah. So you used it to log on to LinkedIn for breakfast as your business to go and learn some stuff about businessy stuff.
Potentially.
So I would say that it was a legitimate reason for me to email you on your Gmail because you logged onto my platform with your Gmail, so I can email you back for Gmail because I want to talk to you about some businessy stuff. And so I think that's the problem. And I'm only just using that as a fun example. So please don't think I'm, using you as an example. But the point is that everybody who, when they think about email, they go, okay, I'm not allowed to email a Hotmail, a Gmail, a Yahoo, or whatever it is because they're personal emails. I have to email a Dave at xyzcompany.com because that's a company email. And the point is that's not true. People use Gmails all the time for business, like that is just there. So when we think about messaging and emailing people, and so this is, and I did this one yesterday actually with a group of accountants that I was training, and I would say when we're putting together this search, let's go back onto this basic search that we were doing, right? And I go and look at my coaches and founders that we did this search for. I go onto first degree connections and I go and see at the top. And actually, Sophie's perfect because she was the person I used as an example last time, right? And so Sophie is my first degree connection, and I want to invite her along to one of my events. So I go on here and I go to Sophie and I go, okay, this is Sophie. She has accepted my outreach to her, and she said, yes, Richard, I think it would be good if we were connected. Let's be first degree connections on LinkedIn. And I go, great, okay, cool. Let's be connections. And I go, oh, actually, looking at Sophie's profile, I think she'd be brilliant. She may love coming along to learn some free stuff about LinkedIn. Maybe I'll just see if she's given me some ideas on how to contact her. And I go onto her profile and I find this blue button here. It says contact info. And I go, oh, that's very good of Sophie. She's got some contact info. And I go onto her contact info and I look through it and I find an email and she's going, oh, great. She has given me this email as the email that she would like me to use to contact her. And so therefore I'll press this button and I will contact her, right? And so jobs are good. The point being is it's around actually where did you get the email from? And well, I just followed what she asked me to do because I felt like I wanted to email her as my first degree connection. And if it was a Gmail on there, then that was the email that she has given on LinkedIn as the contact information on her business profile to contact. And so who am I to judge what she uses as her business email? It is not my it's not my place to say she's right or wrong. It's just down to her and the information she's given. So in my very kind of mitigating the problem type way, that's my way of working. So if I ever think about, well, where did that email come from? Well, just followed what Sophie asked me to do and reached out to her, right? Now, what I wouldn't say is that gives me a right to stick Sophie on my newsletter subscriber list because she has not subscribed to my list. Okay, so she's connected me to not subscribe. So I am only sending her an email to say, hey, Sophie, I've got this cool event. I'd love you to come along to it. Are you available? But I wouldn't be putting her onto this is issue 1 of my newsletter, and do it that way because I'd just be reaching out to her. And I wouldn't be reaching out to her every single week and every single time. I would just be doing a reach out to do an invite or two, and if it didn't work, then boom. Cool. I hope that does that help, Dave? Am I?
Yeah, no, it does. I think the challenge for me is when I'm trying to do that nurture or your second C, the consider. Yeah, who do you try and put into a list? And I'd rather do that with business emails rather than with personal emails.
Yeah, yeah. Um, um, but it's then down to it. I think the point is that LinkedIn, you don't even need to worry about the email. You could do so when just to go back to this. So if you want to, so what would be your consideration thing? What would be the thing that you would try and get people onto?
It's actually to get them to connect to consume content and then potentially create a LinkedIn DM conversation.
Yeah, so that's all awareness. So consuming your content on LinkedIn and then getting into there. What are you doing in here? What do you have, a newsletter, podcast?
I've got a couple of online assessment lead magnets and a newsletter.
Newsletter, perfect. So when we talk about a weekly moment, the nice thing about a newsletter, you can produce something every week and they can consume it, and it gives you an opportunity every single week to move people in. So what I would be saying is trying to move people from this awareness and say to them, hey, do this, join my newsletter and subscribe. So when you're reaching out via email to Sophie here, so you connect with her, you reach out to email, you say, hey, I've got this really cool newsletter, subscribe to it. Then when she subscribes to this newsletter, she'll be subscribing with whatever email she feels fit. And then those subscribers are your subscribers. So they join a new list over here, which is therefore your subscribers.
Yeah, and I've got that through HubSpot automation with double opt-in and whatever to
Exactly.
by that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm double opt-in's the devil as far as I'm concerned. I'm a lead generator, so I'm a frictionless
Yeah.
transition there, and so I don't. If someone decides to opt in, I don't need them to make that decision twice. So I'm very much that type of person. But look, there's different. Look, I'm very kind of give me all the leads you can give me, and I know other people are very much. I know I only want the ones that are really super keen, and there's both ways work. So I'm not knocking that in any way. But that's the point. So get that awareness, move into consideration, get them on the subscribe list, then from there move them into that one-to-one for the convert, right? Love it. Good. I'm going to take Dawn's question before I go. Well, I said before I go, I'm sticking around for another 5-10 minutes to answer more questions. But I just wanted to reiterate and thank you for the people that have already booked on this call. Looking forward to meeting up with you guys and going through your LinkedIn profile. If you haven't booked into one of these free sessions, you crazy? This is a really high value session to jump onto one-to-one with us. So jump into there. The link's now into the chat as well, so you can get yourself or your profile, walk through, look at some improvements, look at some strategic stuff. And yeah, it's high value for a small amount of time. So why not? Dawn, over to you.
Hi, this is really about the way that we get connections and comments on our posts, and it follows up to what we did on the pod yesterday. So I just literally compared what happened to yesterday's post compared to the day before, and I got lots more comments, as you would expect from our lovely people here. Brilliant, thank you very much. But the amount of views was half what it was compared to a post the previous day, my post the previous day, with far less comments and likes. So I wondered whether LinkedIn is going, they're not they're not finding her organically, so, or something's happening. I did put a question in the general chat to ask you this question, but as I'm here, I thought I'd get your opinion, because it does seem like it didn't work, because not my normal people who comment, there were very few of them. It was weird.
Yeah, so obviously it could just be down to the post not being so good. So there's always that. So one post might be better than another post, and so you've always got to kind of do the assessment of that. technically, you've got to look at the trackers to make sure the trackers when you're sharing a post. And actually, we probably need to reiterate this again because it's been a little while since I mentioned this on the pod, and we need to maybe do this. So, Flora, could you just make a note to try and make sure that people know this? When you're sharing a post, don't share all the tracking on it. And Fager, could you make sure we make a note on this as well? So when we copy the link to the post, right, and we paste it into here, you can see everything after this kind of question mark
Yeah.
says source, share, media, member, desktop, blah, 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 right? So this bit is actually all the gumph that links me sharing that post to me. And so therefore, if people are clicking on that and then going to LinkedIn on that and liking and commenting, that's showing LinkedIn that it's been a shared by me post. Whereas if I go to here and I copy and paste just the bit without all that and paste that on, that will still go to the post of Laura's here, but it doesn't have all the tracking. And so
Right. I wonder whether that's it then.
it's that. So then if I like and comment on this post, and that now gives more comment and more cachet to that comment because I've just discovered the post, I haven't come via that.
Okay, so in this example, there's a big long number and then there's an HU6Q, I think, from my.
It's
So
everything after the question mark. There's only ever one question mark. So copy link. So I'm just going to throw that in again. So
I can't see the question mark and I can only. Oh, I see. It's there. Yeah, yeah.
it's everything after the question mark.
Okay. Right. Thank you. I think that's affected the reach. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, it could just be the post wasn't very good compared
It
to
was
the
brilliant.
other.
I'm going to send you the link and you can tell me whether it's rubbish or not.
But it's around. So there's a few things. So one, obviously, the boost of the pod gives it a leg up, but then it's got to be the titles, the
Yeah.
content, the
Yeah.
etc. to be able to go into a network. Which if it is all as good as the other one, then great. It should do better than your average post. And if it doesn't, then we look at the technical piece and go, tracker, tracker, tracker. So I think, Flora, what we might do actually is we'll do a little video. If you just make a note of this, we'll do a little video on this. And what we can do the next few pods is actually we'll have one of our team go through and just kind of be like just not police it a bit, but do you know what I mean? Like quality control the links and just say, oh, hey, Frank, you just posted with the tracker. Here's a little video of Richard explaining
Yeah.
that you shouldn't do that and how you can change it. So it just means that we did this a little while ago to tell people how to do it, but we have people, hundreds of people joining every week into our community, so we need to kind of keep on helping.
I can't remember who it was, but there was somebody that I followed their link to comment, and I did notice that they'd got a really short link, and I was like, I'd quite like to be able to do that. But it was even less than, from memory, it looked like it was even less than what you've just shown me.
Yeah, so you can use something like a bit.ly link or something
Yeah.
along those. So if you know bit.ly, it's like a free software you can shorten links. So there's lots of so bit.ly, and it will give you a short URL or a QR code for a link. So you can do stuff like that. Sometimes LinkedIn themselves, when you're sharing stuff, allows you to share stuff. They might have shared stuff within a post or what have you, and it looks shorter. But hey, without seeing it, I wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
tell you exactly what it is. But yeah, there you go.
Thanks.
Oh,
Well,
there's always something. There's
I
always
mean, somebody can put that your little video that you're going to do into my comment. That might help as well.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you for that. I think that's really, really helpful.
No drama. Wicked guys. Well, look. Any final questions before we wrap up? No. Oh, Ronnie, you look like you're making tips. No, yeah, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, no, not thank you very much. Sorry. Just had my mic on. No, thank you. No, that's it. And au revoir.
No worries at all. Well, glad it was helpful. Great stuff. Well, look, $1 Million Sprinters are on this call. I will. Oh, Sally, you said, do we need Sales Navigator as a $1 Million Sprinter? We pay for Sales Navigator, so we are doing all the searches for you. So all of the lead lists that we pull down, we're using Sales Navigator to create those lead lists, and then we're outreaching. So we're creating for our clients what we see as being the A-star lists. And then from there, we're outreaching to them. Obviously, we ask you to kind of edit and flow those. But you won't get your own Sales Navigator login because of that. And doing that kind of alerts piece, that's not there. But on the flip side, the prospecting, the outreach and stuff is going into a list that's generated through Sales Navigator. So it would be maybe a small benefit if you wanted to, but we don't recommend it because the cost of doing it doesn't give you the benefit probably isn't outweighed by that at this stage. There's a few that do because they are doing a load more. They kind of gone to that next stage, but at the start, I don't recommend anybody pay for Sales Navigator when they join $1 Million Sprint because we do 80% of it for you. Cool. No drama. Right. I'll see in 5 minutes time. I've got the $1 Million Sprint drop-in clinic. So other than that, big love, guys. And thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you guys on a LinkedIn profile audit or, of course, next week, 9 a.m. for another episode of